What is up, guys, and welcome to AOR Japan. You guys know the scenario. Ryan is away for this race, unfortunately, but I also have some news. I may potentially be missing the next race as well, so it is critical for me today to win this race. We're going to do our best, but as you can see here, heavy rain for the entirety of this qualifying session, so we've got it all to do. Thankfully, earlier this week, I did some rain or wet weather practice in career mode, so I kind of had that to go off of going forward in this session. We'll have to wait and see how we go. I've made all the setup adjustments that I need to do to account for the wet. I've moved the diff all the way down to 50% to make the rear end more compliant, brake bias towards the rear as well to avoid front locking, and the rest is up to me, so we'll see how we go. I took a little bit longer in setting up the car before heading out in qualifying here, so I'm potentially going to miss out on doing an extra lap versus those around me, but hopefully we'll be okay. So far, first lap, we're 3/10 down to Warden through the first sector. Not too bad. I mean, we're close, but not that close, so hopefully we can make it up in the second and third sectors. A bit of locking up there heading into that middle sector hairpin. I find the thing that I struggle with the most when it comes to wet weather driving is just honestly the grip. I feel like I don't have much grip at all, especially on corner exit. Just being able to apply the throttle consistently, I just feel like I have to wait an absolute age to get on the power, which is really frustrating. You know, braking, I was struggling with that, you know, in previous rounds. I feel like I've got a bit of a handle on that. Previously I couldn't brake as probably late as some others, but now I feel like I've dialed that into my driving style a little bit better, and now I can have a little bit more confidence heading into corners now. So, I don't know, we'll see how we go, but final lap here in qualifying. You can see we're just dancing the car through turns 1 and 2. It's really sketchy through there, through to the fast S's now. This is all either a combination of 4th or 5th gear. I feel like 5th gear is probably a little bit more flowing. You get a little bit more understeer. 4th gear, you can probably jam it into the corner a little bit faster, but then you get oversteer and a little bit more wheel spin. So it's a compromise, and we kind of went halfway between 4th and 5th through most of that. You can see here the delta isn't that great. We're about 1/10 and a half down. We had a bit of a moment through the final left-hander in the first sector. And yeah, that cost us a couple of tenths. Into the hairpin now. I think we gained a little bit of time through there. Nice exit. And we should be gaining a little bit on the delta. So yeah, it's incremental amounts. Not by enough, because Warden is on pole by 9 tenths. Back to us. So we're just not really making the gains that I was hoping to. We're up by 3.5, maybe 4 tenths. Probably 5 tenths by the time we get to the end of this straight here, but just really struggling. If you guys can let me know where I'm losing time over the course of this lap, then that'd be much appreciated. I feel like I did the best job I could. A few small mistakes here and there, so maybe 2 or 3 tenths at least to find over the course of this lap, but overall I felt like I didn't drive too bad. Across the line, it will be an improvement by just under 5 tenths. It puts us P6. But after everyone sets their lap times, it puts us down to P7 as HO improved right at the death there of qualifying. So, 7th place. Not the qualifying I was after. Definitely not. Warden gets pole by 3 tenths over Master Berserk. Dominator P3, the leading wheel user in P3. Proza is Voltex, and he's starting P8. He had incredible pace in the dry and in race pace. In a practice race we did before this, but both of us are really struggling for pace in the wet. So too with Dominator, the closest wheel user, 7 tenths behind. So yeah, a lot of work for us to do. But thankfully for the Grand Prix, we have dry running. Thank goodness for that. We're going to go to the super soft tyres and run the softs to the end of the Grand Prix. Just do the exact same strategy we've been practicing for the last couple of weeks in league racing, so that should be fine. We'll move the differential up to 100 so we can make the most of some tasty early accelerations out of corners. But here we go, ready for the start of this Japanese Grand Prix. 5 red lights, and we are underway from P7. This is going to be a task and a half to go and win this race. Let's see what we can do. 27 points to Ryan, like I said. Crucially, I would love to win this race. I believe we can, but we need to make up positions super fast, like almost a positional lap, I reckon, for the first 10 laps. That's what we need to do. So we'll see what we can do. HO getting really racy up against Aaron, L3, F4, right in front of us. He tries to get around the outside, leaves a bit of a hole there. We try to fill it, but couldn't quite get up the inside, and it's P7 once again. HO really aggressive on Aaron. He's actually sent him into a half spin through the first deck. Now we dive up the inside of not Fitcho, HO. I don't know how I've made that mistake, but it's P7 still. Aaron going really defensive into the left-hander again. We looked for an avenue up the inside, not quite working out there. And still, same position, but now Prozor is going around my outside now as we turn to this slight right-hand kink. And we should hopefully stay in front of him. Like I said, Prozor is really fast in the race. He's on a harder compound as well, so it'll be really crucial for us to keep him behind. Otherwise, he'll have a huge strategy advantage over us in the Grand Prix. So, yeah, first lap is averted. Prozor made a mistake through that final chicane. I actually believe he got hit off by someone there, so unfortunate to lose him from the back of us there. Dominator makes a mistake in the second Degner, and now this has really opened up a can of worms here. Up the inside of HO. Can we potentially get up the inside of Dominator as well? No, we can't. Aaron tries to go around the outside, and now the race is really opened up for us. Now we can make some position stick for us, so there we go. We've got HO. He's on our outside. Hopefully we can get him. Look at his straight line speed. That was insane. That just got him the position back, even though he runs into the back of Dominator. I don't believe he's got damage, so he'll be able to carry on. What a start to this Grand Prix. You can see I'm really frustrated there, not being able to make any position so far in these opening 2 laps. Warden is absolutely running away with this race, and yeah, our chances of winning this one are quickly going down the drain. So we need to make positions now. So nice exit through the final chicane. HO getting caught up on the back of Dominator, and there we go, P6. Dominator, what can we do up against him? Looks like his straight line speed is pretty solid there. We'll show him that we want to go up the inside. He covers it, and nothing really doing there. Aaron up ahead makes another mistake, and that might open up Dominator to making a move on this lap potentially. So yeah, we've got a few midfield-ish normally drivers in the podium-ish position. So we've got Aaron right in front of us. We've got Master Berserk in P2, who is having a great race so far, and I believe, oh, Aaron is getting really tangled up there. He loses the position to Dominator, who makes the move stick around the outside. So really nice job from him there. And I believe in P3 we have Jetson F1. So those guys doing a phenomenal job in the opening laps of this Japanese Grand Prix. Again, we're looking for another avenue at the inside of Aaron. Can't quite make the move stick, and every time there's a failed overtake, you just get more and more frustrated because we continue to lose time and less chance of overtaking Warden in this race for the victory. We tried to go up the inside of Aaron there again into the final chicane. He kind of turned across us there, and I've got to admit I wasn't too impressed with that. He has DRS, so any overtaking opportunities are pretty limited. HO's got brilliant straight line speed. I want to know what front wings or what aero he's running. He must be like 1.6 or something. I'm running with like 2.8 wings, which definitely helps in the first sector. But when it comes to overtaking, it's a little less potent. I thought I'd be more threatening in a straight line versus some of the other guys in this field, but it's definitely not the case. Aaron is really slow through the first sector. He gets hung up wide on the grass, and that is an easy position for us. Into P5 now, and hopefully now we can get on with our race. This is our first lap in clear air, and look at that, 5/10 up in the first sector alone. Like, that is how much we were getting held up. A bit of oversteer there, massive moment, and now HO might have a look up the inside. This is exactly not what I wanted. We cover the inside, HO goes for the move anyway, bit of contact, and we just hold on. Bloody hell, that was nerve-wracking. I did not want to work that hard to get those positions, only to throw it away pretty much straight away. We only lost 0.2 to our best lap on that previous lap, despite the mistake. That's insane. Again, we cut to the next lap, 5/10 up through the first sector, and now that we actually have a clean run, we go a second faster than our previous best on old tyres now, it must be said. So yeah, now that we got the clear air, we can now finally show off our pace. We've already caught up to the back of Dominator and Jetson F1, who are squabbling over P3. So yeah, hopefully we can make something work here. Jetson is going to be quite nervous, holding onto a podium position. You can see he's a little bit squirmy at the exit of some traction zones. Dominator has a look up the inside into the hairpin. Nothing quite doing there. Jetson holds his line very well there. Dominator getting a bit squirmy. His rear tyres are starting to go off now. Wheel users, we really start to feel the pain of the extreme tyres in the opening stint. It's really important to look after your rear tyres, especially in the first stint, because yeah, it's so easy to spin them up at the start of the race when the fuel loads are really high. But on the contrary, pad users, they have to watch out for their front tyres, so that could be a factor we could look towards exposing towards the end of this Grand Prix if we catch up to the leaders. But Dominator, he's going a bit slow at the moment. We have a little look up the inside just to show him, hey, we're still here, we can still challenge. He gets a really bad run out of the final corner, and it's all over. Alright, enough of that. You're probably wondering why I played Titanic music there, because that whole thing was a fail. Not only getting caught up in Dominator's incident, running into the back of him, him slowing up on the racing line, and then us ending up in the barrier, but the fact is we had to pit there, have a extended pit stop, but also it's too damn early for these tyres to make it to the end of the Grand Prix now. These tyres will not make it to the end. Unless we do some tyre saving. I'm not too sure. It's going to be dangerously, dangerously close to making it to the end without getting a puncture. So, I won't lie. At this stage of the Grand Prix, I was thinking that I'd have to do the 2-stop. But we'll see how we go. We'll see how the tyre wear is at about lap 19 or something. But yeah, as you can probably tell, at this point, I am supremely pissed off that my championship is now over. We needed to win this race, or at the very least finish on the podium, because we may not be racing next week. And you can be damn sure that Ryan is going to finish on the podium at least, and that'll be more points gained for him, and from there, it's championship over. So unless we're racing next week, it is honestly championship over. So, I mean, I was just throwing caution to the wind. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 131.5. That's pretty quick at this point in the race. Like lap 9, lap 10. A lot of the other leaders will be stopping 3, 4, 5 laps later, and their pace is going to be much better on the fresher tyres. So we'll see how that fastest lap stacks up against the rest of the guys. Dominator is now left and retired from the Grand Prix. I'm not too sure what happened to him. I think he got caught up with other people. But now, many laps later, we catch up to the back of Death and also Prozza, who was on the soft compound tyres himself. We've arguably been the fastest car on track now that we've had some clear air. We get up the inside of Prozza, who gets caught up behind Death. Death gives him a bit of a squeeze, and I don't know if that was team orders at play. I certainly didn't ask him to do that, but that has certainly helped me out. We try and go up his inside. He's really slow on the medium tyres. He's been on those since the start of the race, so he's pretty easy pickings for us. We get up the inside through Spoon, and that is us up in a P8. So at this point, yeah, we're just trucking along, seeing how many positions we can make up, just capitalizing on other people's mistakes, misfortune. Prozza is actually retired from this race, which I don't understand, because there's less than 10 people left in the Grand Prix now, and if you just finish, you'll get points. I don't understand this mentality of people just quitting league races. I will personally never retire early from a league race, simply because you never know what'll happen. And especially with Prozza in third in the championship, he's just given away quite a few points there, which I don't understand. But anyway, a lot of other people have now made their pit stops in this Grand Prix. That puts us up into P6. Prozza is now left. Bit of a rage quit there, but we're going to check the race director and see if there's anyone else who needs to make another stop. that is not the case. Everyone is clear to the end. So we're going to race on now. Next up ahead is Aaron, and I believe he's like 8 seconds up the road, or at least that's how it started off. So we'll see what we can do. He's got much fresher tyres than us, but I believe just naturally we have better pace. So I'm going to see if I can chase him down. At this point now, I'm committed to taking these tyres to the end. So we are going to risk it with the puncture territory and see how we go. If we pit, we're going to rejoin in like P8. So I thought it's probably worth the risk, getting the extra points and the potential to chase down Aaron as well. I feel like it is worth it to try and get 10 points in this Grand Prix. That would be a pretty solid recovery drive at this point. So we finally get to the final lap of the Grand Prix, and this is where the tyres really dropped off. Like, the last 2 laps of the Grand Prix were just, it was painful. It was painful how slow I was and how much understeer I was getting through the first sector. The tyres are like 75% tyre wear. So, yeah, it was really hard to stroke these home to the end. Warden wins the Grand Prix, 15 seconds over Master Berserk in the end there. So, Warden gets his first win of the season, so that's nice to see from him. But for us, it really could have been so much more. We really should have been on the podium today, if not chasing down Warden for the win. That is not what happened. It's P6 and only 8 points. Bit of a disaster, it must be said. So, yeah, I'm not too sure what to make of that. I've, you know, not given myself the best chance to shine in this Grand Prix. I just didn't do well enough in qualifying, and I put myself down the order, racing with people I shouldn't have been racing with, and, you know, this is what happens sometimes. But, yeah, what can I say? That incident with Dominator was just so unlucky. I was up his ass through that final corner, and honestly, I did not expect him to pit. That was honestly too early for him to make a pit stop. I don't know what he was thinking by pitting that early. And I think he went on to soft compound tyres as well, so that was not the fastest strategy from him. But, you know, in all honesty, I can't blame him for that incident because there wasn't particularly anything that he did wrong there. It was just supremely unlucky on my side of things, and it's completely ruined our race. In many ways, ruined our championship, because I don't see how we can win this now, especially if we are missing the next race. We'll have to wait and see. If we are going to race next week, I still think we can win, but we just honestly have to win every race from here on out, which will be a tough ask. The gap is 19 points to Ryan, so, I mean, honestly, we can still win, but yeah, we need to really qualify well and hope that it never rains again for the rest of the season, because honestly, whenever it rains, I don't know if it's just me or just wheel users, but we just cannot compete. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Need to do better from now on, because otherwise it could be game over.